Good morning. Last night, the Oilers decided to extend shifts in overtime and dropped kind of a heartbreaking decision to the hands of the Vegas Golden Knights, 4-3 loss. And I'm joined today by my guest, Neil Garritty, to recap last night's game and take a look ahead at what's coming up this week. What did you think of the game last night, Neil?
It was a tough one. I thought we played all right. I thought, I didn't like the first two goals. I thought Skinner maybe could have had those, which would have made a huge difference in the game, obviously. But we hung in there, got a point. Obviously, you wanted the two and not give anything to Vegas. But, it's over now. Move on to the next one.
So I didn't like the first goal. I really didn't like that. I thought that was, a bad angle. And Stu, I think, kind of lost his net there a little bit. And that one, I didn't like, but I thought he settled in after that. I don't really have much to say about the second goal. I think Draisaitl was in range there to kind of get a stick in the way of that, block that, or deflect it out of harm's way, and he didn't even attempt that. So I think he was trying to let his goalie see it. Unfortunately, I think he was in the way and screen Stu. So I don't fault Skinner on that one. The third goal. Blown coverage by the team, but I didn't think Stu made much of a reaction, so I think he sort of fell asleep there. So if I'm going to poke fingers at goals, I think the first one for sure, and maybe the third one is what I would look at. Nothing he could do. The overtime winner, Kane abandoned ship on his assignment, and so I'm not accused of being racist. I think Kane's been a hell of a player for us, and I love him. And the guy that took a shot at Bruce McCurdy, you're fucked, buddy. If there's anybody that defends Darnell Nurse when probably Darnell doesn't even deserve it, it's Bruce McCurdy. So you can fuck right off with trying to accuse Bruce of anything, sinister or racist. Fuck right off. I'll just get that out of the way. If you didn't see it on Twitter, it was there, and I don't want to make this guy a celebrity because he doesn't deserve it, but he was taking shots at Bruce McCurdy last night, and Bruce is a friend of our network and has written an article for us, and we'll be doing another one. So, I will stick up for Bruce all day long. I saw that you did. I didn't see it until this morning. I kind of looked at that last night, and I shook my head, and then I was thinking about it all night, and I think Bruce was too, and I reached out to him and sent him a message saying, no, Bruce, this guy is crazy. You are a staunch Nurse defender. Anybody that knows you knows that you are a good egg, and I think this guy probably knows that too, and decided to take a run at you just for fun, just to get a reaction, and he got it. That guy has said shit to me about coaching and like I'm hard on coaches and stuff. God, I'm the last guy to complain about Oilers coaching. I didn't start complaining about Tippett until the writing was on the wall, and my biggest complaint with Tippett really was for a guy that was supposed to come in here and put the clamps on McDavid and Draisaitl and turn them into defensive juggernauts. I didn't really think he did a good job of teaching this team how to
Yeah,
play defense. I think that's been
yeah,
left up to
he
Woodcroft
was
and Manson.
for sure. Yeah, Tippett was not as advertised at all. Um, yeah, you know what? I guess slightly in Tippett's defense, I don't think it's easy to coach McDavid and Draisaitl to coach a team like that because it's
I gotta call you out on that.
no, I meant that it's different than probably any other team that he's ever coached. You know,
Yeah, I mean, you've got the two most dynamic offensive players
yeah,
maybe in league history on the same team.
yeah,
So it's a different style of coaching. I'll give you
yeah.
that. But how
I
could you?
didn't
I
mean
mean,
it's hard like they're uncoachable or like they don't make him look good every night. But I think it's just different. I think you have to approach things differently when you have those guys on the ice. I think it's I think even I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I think even putting a team together around them, that and even like the pundits always want a certain they want to go 60 and four lines all the time. They want everything to be, they want that square peg in that square hole all the time. And as soon as anyone goes away from that, there's all these questions about it until like Woodcroft, like all year going 11-7, just question after question. We're going 11-7. It was, I honestly think it's because they didn't understand it. And then as soon as Toronto does it, there's no questions. Like, I don't know. I guess what I was thinking though, like it's got to be, it's not easy building a team around these guys either, because they're going to eat up a lot of cap. You need cheap guys that can perform, and that's not always easy.
but I think there is kind of actually doing to the chagrin of some people.
I don't understand that either. Like Oilers fans get mad at Holland for succeeding. Like,
Yeah. Led me to another thing, like the Bear for Fogel trade. At first, it looked like it wasn't really much of a trade, other than maybe a change of scenery for both players. Uh, in the last probably 10 games here, Warren Fogel's really turned it on,
awesome.
and he's becoming a factor. So you got him kind of going. Nick Bustad, the little given Puljujärvi, a new change of scenery, which I think he wanted. I won't get into what the team feels because I don't really know, but I think it was evident that he needed that.
Yeah.
But that allowed them to, it wasn't a trade, but it allowed them to be able to pick up Bukestad and also to get Ekholm. And I mean, that Ekholm deal, already, it's a short term, so I don't know if you could fully evaluate it yet, but holy shit, has that changed this team?
Yeah. Back to Fogel, I like him so much. I would have had him in overtime instead of Kane. I honestly, as soon as Kane was on the ice, I thought, oh man, what's going on here? And I think Woodcroft is just experimenting a little bit.
I don't know if it's that or just trying to get Evander, back up and running. To me, I just think he's not quite there yet. Not for lack of trying. He had a bad injury, right? And was out for a while. I think it's just taken a little bit for him to get up and go into kind of game speed.
For sure.
He got a hat trick the other night. So the hands are there, but this game went into overtime. You're in an extended shift, and sometimes in that situation, your brain kind of takes a strike, and and then you make a mistake. And I think
Yeah,
that's all it was. And it could have happened to anybody. So I,
for sure. And the people that I get that they were out there on a long shift, but I watched that overtime a couple times, and I don't know when they could have gotten off.
you don't really get the puck.
Ekholm maybe could have
Past,
gotten off,
you don't
but
really get the puck past center ice, and
no.
that's hard. And that's hard to go off on a change there. So
Yeah,
yeah, you're right.
it would
Um,
have ended up in a 2-on-1. You know,
Potentially, yeah. And the thing about overtime, which is different than regulation, if you're getting close to center ice, not very often in overtime you see people just try to hit the red line and chip it in and go off on a change. That doesn't happen. They want to keep possession of the puck. So
exactly.
it's sometimes hard to get those changes, and especially when it's the long change, right? So
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was strange that McDavid and Draisaitl and Nurse went off so quickly.
credit to them for doing that, because
Yeah,
it could have been the other way around. But
yeah, I guess.
I think the shift before, when it who was it, Nuge, was Nuge out, or he was out there with Kane.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Real
McDavid and
nice.
Dry never did get their second shift, did they?
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
and that's I almost I don't know. Like, do you start Nuge and Kane and Ekholm?
I don't think so. I think you want to go for the jugular right
Yeah,
away, but
it it
I mean,
just
it
seems
was that.
like they were only out there for like 40 seconds.
Yeah, and that's about right. 45 seconds is perfect, but
Yeah,
um, it seems like other teams, they used to go into that. Okay, we'll in the face off, we'll stall for about a minute, get them tired, and then we'll get a different line on, and they'll still be out and take advantage of them. It
yeah,
seems like the leagues kind of went away from that a little bit, but I mean, we got victimized last night by an extended shift from our kind of second grouping in
yeah,
overtime. Yeah. Way it goes. Some people are really upset, and it's the end of the world. It's one hockey game. There's
yeah.
not going to be 3-on-3 in the playoffs, so I don't read too much into this. Yeah, it sucks to not get that extra point against a team you're chasing for the league division title, and I can bring up the standings right now.
Yeah. It's funny that, like, before the game, it was, oh, we're battling for, we've got a shot to win our division. And then after the game, we drop 1 point and now we're out for sure. We can't get first for sure. How did that happen? Like, we've got 9 games left. We can't get 7 points. I don't know. And I understand the likelihood drops, but it's honestly a difference of 1 point.
Still 18 points up for grabs, and you turn around, face Vegas. I think just a second here. I got schedule handy too. It's on Tuesday, um, so tomorrow they play the Coyotes.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday is the Golden Knights. Thursday is the Kings. Saturday is the Ducks, and next Tuesday is the Kings again. So that's kind of a look at the next week and a day
Yeah.
in advance here. So some big division games mixed in with a couple of should be for shores, but the way this team gets into those for sure games, I'm more nervous about them than the games against the teams that are we're looking up at in the standings here. So
Yeah. At least those ones that against the bottom dwellers, like the last two that we won in overtime, like at least we got the 2 points. And you don't mind giving up the point to them at this time of year. Doesn't matter. All that matters is the win. Obviously you'd like to, put them away, but like Anaheim's been playing some really good hockey lately.
yeah, there's some talent on that team, and they work hard.
Keller's looking pretty awesome all of a sudden.
I think dissecting that game the last time we played them,
Yeah.
him more than probably anybody else in the league. Easy on spin cycle all night. Like,
Yeah,
he had a real hard time with him.
he did.
It's almost like Keller was like choosing to go to CC's side the whole night because he knew he could dance around.
He probably figured it out.
That one sequence there, we had CC like gassed and basically hanging onto the crossbar for dear life when he was behind the net, and then he centered it out. I thought that was game over there for the Coyotes.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like that at all. I felt bad for him. Like, oh man, that was quite the little sequence there on that one shift.
What did
Um,
you think of last night's game?
what did I think? I thought we started well.
Yeah.
And then they got that kind of early goal, and momentum momentum shifts. Like we take a long time to recover from that, and didn't really get back into it until we got that power play. And what a beautiful tic tac toe play. Draisaitl there, Hyman, that whole thing was glorious.
Yeah.
It's not very often where Jack Eichel, gets the better of us or McDavid, if you want to say, but he had a 3-point night last night, and might have been the best player on the ice, and I hate to say that.
Yeah, I hate to hear that. I thought, like, again, that first goal shouldn't have gone in. Like that. The thing that really bugged me about that one is it's not like he went posting in. He got a big portion of the net on that. Yeah, like Skinner was well out of position there.
I think Skinner comes out another 2 feet. There's no net to hit.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you? It's an impossible angle. Like
it didn't even look like Eichel was trying.
It looked like a shot that we're just going to sift it on net and see what happens.
Exactly. Oh, that went in. Huh.
Yeah. And those are hard to give up, and especially the first shot of the game. But gives Stu credit. I mean, I thought he played pretty good after that. Like he settled in. He gave them a chance, and they had a chance. They were in it. They were in overtime, and a long extended shift, and Evander decides to put on a double team in a 3-on-3 situation, and he kind of doubled down on the mistake by the route that he chose to get back into it. Nicholas Roy didn't cash on his first chance. He cashed on his own rebound. So
yeah, and I thought Ekholm could have taken a piece of him too, but I don't know. They both kind of whiffed on that. I mean, it was clearly Kane's man, but Ekholm came back and I don't know, tried to touch him but didn't a little bit.
I don't know what the thought process was. Like if Evander actually thought he could get there, double team, collect the puck, and go, or if he got confused thinking that he's supposed to be in zone coverage rather than man. I
don't know.
I don't want excuses for him. I think it's just a mistake, and
the goaltending in general, like when we get into the playoffs, we can't be letting in any soft ones. Like it's got to just stop. We don't need to be playing from behind because of a soft one. It just, and I know that's an easy thing to say and kind of an impossible thing to just fix because they're obviously trying to stop all of them. But man, it would be nice that if we didn't have to talk about this in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a regular occurrence. I think Stu's been pretty solid for us. I think it's a one-off, and shit like that's going to happen. I don't think we're seeing Talbot 2.0 from the tired year.
No.
They might have jinxed Stewart with the guy behind me, Grant, chasing down his rookie record there.
Yeah,
five away from tying Grant. They might have jinxed him a little bit, but I mean, I think that record is probably still within reach for him. He, 9 games to go. He he might be able to collect 5 more wins down the stretch
Yeah.
because he might be playing in about 7 of those final 9 here. So
Yeah.
I mean that's I guess a question that was brought up if anybody watches Rashog and Strudwick and Terry Ryan this morning on the Got Your Back pre-breakfast breakfast show. They were asking Struddy and Shog who he started against Arizona and the home game for Vegas in the back-to-back here, or I mean home and home series. Um, I think you go Campbell tomorrow and
Yeah.
to Stu Tuesday. Just
Yeah.
give him a chance to redeem himself and give yourself a real good look of what the playoffs are going to look like, how you stack up.
I agree. I don't think you want to reverse those. I mean, I don't think Skinner had his best game last night, but that's not the reason why you would, you wouldn't want to just put him against Anaheim because they're the easier team. Like, we're not there yet. He needs to play against the best teams right now. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, so he needs to play that second game, not the first one.
I think it's a good idea because we are getting close to the playoffs, so to kind of be in that sort of playoff environment again, I think is something that you want to familiarize him to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Officiating.
Man.
Time last night, I got to be honest, not so much with the calls that were made, but the calls that weren't made.
Yeah.
So it makes it you're calling the holds and that kind of stuff, but the cross checks and potentially injuring penalties, you're letting go. I couldn't understand it.
The real obvious ones they let go.
He gets cross-checked in the back in our defensive zone.
Yeah.
Kind of close to the end line there.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Nothing.
And then they call Yamamoto in the neutral zone for a hold.
Yeah.
Nobody's gaining an advantage there by that penalty.
Yeah.
After you just let and I'm trying to think of it you're penalizing the little guy for holding a bigger guy, but in the other end of the ice, you're not penalizing anybody while the small guy gets abused. I couldn't figure out the thought process.
I thought
then McDavid gets cross-checked to the ice and half-ass viciously. It wasn't full out vicious, but it was pretty bad. You let that goal go, and then you call another hold.
I thought that was it Kessel and Desharnais?
Yeah.
That was either a butt end or a headbutt or something.
I think Vinny's tongue was actually, I think there was blood in his mouth. So I think Kessel's visor clipped him.
Yeah. It looked at the start, it looked like he got him with a butt end right at the very beginning of that. And I don't know. I thought Kessel could have got an extra 2 there easily.
There was an earlier sequence where they called it a hit. I can't remember who it was, but that was the one I thought might have been a butt in because somebody from the Oilers went to the bench and the way they skated to the bench. I was thinking, geez, he either got speared or butt ended there. That wasn't just a body check.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the refs on most nights. I just wish they could just be consistent. The penalties they called, they're penalties, sure. But man, they let some stuff go that was way worse.
That was my issue. It's not like you were making bad calls. It's the calls you were letting go.
To me, the Ekholm one was a penalty. Sure.
To me, in a hook and a hold, very rarely you're going to actually injure somebody with those. They're infractions, yes, but they're not blatant. You're letting cross checks and slashes and spears and butt ends but you're calling holds and hooks like that. That's when I have a hard time with the game, and I think that's when the game can get out of hand because guys recognize that, so then they start running around.
For sure. And normally it's the other way around in the playoffs, right? Like in
Yeah,
the playoffs, you got to do something obvious to get a penalty. Well, they were doing some obvious things out there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And thankfully, it was Vegas because if that's LA, I mean, they'll really exploit that.
Oh man. Yeah, that is the one thing that scares me about LA in the playoffs. I mean, there's many things that do, but the the officiating that LA gets, man, that worries.
Far better situated this time around though than last time for that kind of thing. I mean, the additions of Costin and Bukestad and even Ekholm, um, we can play more of a physical brand of hockey than we could before.
Yeah, they've got a better team than what played us last year too, though.
They do, but I'm going to say this, and maybe people think I'm crazy, but I think Ekholm more than cancels out them getting Doughty back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That guy is one smooth customer, and have you noticed McDavid is really looking for him offensively?
yeah, yeah. I saw that last night for sure. He jumps in at the right spot, and he's he does it like with authority.
Watt had to make a pretty good save there on that one chance.
Yeah,
That was going in. It wasn't missing the net. So he had to make a nice glove save there to shut that down. That
yeah,
was going in. And I mean he did that the other night with that howitzer rocket clapper. It was kind of the same thing.
man. If that would have hit the goalie, it would have like if it hit his stick, it would have broken it. Like if it hit anything other than his glove or his blocker, it would have injured him.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, if that hit him in the head, he would have knocked him right out for sure.
quite the quite the shot. I
Yeah.
mean that's like bantam. You just you get inside the circles and you decide to tee one up.
And the goalie takes a swing at you after.
And he puts another 25 miles an hour on it. So
Exactly. Man, that was nuts.
think I've got much else. I just want to do a fairly quick show today, and
Yeah, that was cool.
thank you for coming on. And I know you got other things to do today. Slowly trying to build the straight off the pipe YouTube channel here. So from now on, I think that's kind of where the majority of this kind of stuff is going to go. It also streams to Heavy Hockey Twitter and my personal Facebook page, and um, yeah.
Cool.
There should be a podcast coming out, Forever 99. I think last night before the Oilers Vegas game, Eric had Josh Bolton, Tough Call Pod on, probably to discuss last night's game and kind of the league in general and all that. And all that stuff. Oilers Live Tuesdays is kind of a regular thing. If there's a game, he goes post game. If not, usually it's around 9 Alberta time and midnight 30 out where he lives, I think is when he starts streaming. um, World Hockey Reports, I think is on a bit of a brief hiatus. Cody Jansen that does that, covers the National Lacrosse League. So if you're into lacrosse, you can follow Cody on Twitter, and he can keep you up to date with the Saskatoon Rush. He does play-by-play out there. So that goes on. Also, Kirk Morris, the Paddle Down podcast, has episodes on heavy hockey. You can collect all that stuff on Spotify and Apple iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for joining me, Neil. Any last words about this week?
Nope. Thanks for having me. I think we're gonna have a good week.
So it's a big one. You know, I'm gonna do or die on how this goes. I want them to do as good as possible, but I think they've done the work where they're definitely going to be a playoff team. And once that new season actually starts, I think they're very well situated to go on another run here, and I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
The only
It
thing I
will be.
would say is that I want them to like go into the playoffs winning, or playing well at least.
He used to say that he was afraid of a team peaking too early. I
Yeah,
want them to peak at the right time. Um, I think this is the right time to peak and go into the playoffs on a high.
yeah,
But I want them to stay healthy, most importantly. And once that new season starts, it would be nice to be playing more games in Rogers than on the road. But we've been a pretty successful road team all season, so either way, I'm not too concerned. But I'm looking forward to the stretch drive here and the postseason to start. And just before playoffs, Robert Clark, the Oilers anthem singer, has agreed to come on, so I'm looking forward to that too. Not to diminish your appearances, Neil, but just give people a heads up that Robert Clark will be on in the next couple of weeks at some point. We haven't really nailed down a day yet, but that's coming up. Thanks everybody for watching. Keep your sticks on the ice. Keep reaching for the stars. And go Oilers, go. We'll talk to you again soon.